Hello, New Wave of British Heavy Metal.com here. Today is the 22nd of March 2021. If I could make the usual opening request for a favour, and that's if you would please subscribe to the channel, that would be excellent and appreciated. Thank you. Right, today we're going to look at a band from the good old days, the good old New Wave of British Heavy Metal days called Cynic. And, well, they formed all the way back in the original New Wave of British Heavy Metal days around about 1980 or so, give or take a year either way. And they did what many in the Wobben band did back then to try and get themselves out there a little bit. They released a self-financed single, Suicide, marvelous song, and tried hard to bag a recording contract via a demo, 4-track demo that they also put together, and tried to find a record deal. Unfortunately for the band, that record deal didn't materialise, and that could be for all sorts of reasons, couldn't it? But probably back then there were so many bands fighting for limited number of deals, I suppose, that not everyone could land one. Cynic were one of those that didn't, unfortunately, and they kind of faded away. And probably never to be heard from again. Or did they? Well, they didn't. A good few years later, after the band did sort of fade away, in towards the end of the 80s, the band's drummer Tim Batkin received an email asking about Cynic, and that resulted in the band getting back together again. A little bit like the Blues Brothers, right? The band got back together again. Maybe Cynic were on a mission from God too. There's even a tale that the band got booked to play the monster, the huge Wacken festival, because the promoters mistook Cynic, UK's Cynic, for the US band also known as Cynic, and that must have really got our Cynic, UK Cynic, reignited the creative fires as our reformed heroes set about recording an album, Suburban Crisis, which Tim says it's the album that they would have made had they got a record deal back in those original New Wave of British Heavy Metal days in the early mid-80s. So off they went to record Suburban Crisis, and they did it in some style as well. They set off to the famous Rockfield Studios in Wales, where many a fine album's been recorded over the years, and the mixing took place at none other than Abbey Road, and the artwork is really excellent, magnificent artwork done by none other than Hugh Syme, who of course is arguably best known for his work with Rush over the years. So they really chucked everything, including the kitchen sink, at recording Suburban Crisis. It came out in, I think it was 2008, and it's a proper belter. Hard-hitting, skillfully refined, but undoubtedly that new wave of British heavy metal feel is always there, and there's a bit of a progressive edge here and there as well. And as I understand it, most or probably all the songs on here are reworked or re-recordings of tracks that the band wrote back in the day, and that includes like Suicide and that 4-track demo as well. But what it is on Suburban Crisis, it's killer stuff all the way through from start to finish. Top class, clear production, big sound. Tim Batkin, the drummer, he got in touch and said, could he send me a copy? Well, to review. Well, of course he can. What about the songs then? Well, that early single from back in the day, Suicide, that starts things off here. Fine style, typical new wave of British heavy metal feel to it. Big pacey riffs, brooding style, bursts out into a bit of a dark rocker, throbs along in a frantic style, and there's an excellent guitar solo in it as well. 10 Years From Now follows, another chunky, meaty song which punches and hard and wastes nothing in a really punchy, frantic 3 minutes. Dark December is next up, and here's a proper epic. Clocks in around about 8 minutes. Flashes by in an instant. There's a bit of a gentle intro. over the first couple of verses, and you know the explosion's coming, but you just don't know when. And then when it does, bang, we're off. It speeds up, it slows down, it changes pace, it speeds up again, it slows down again. It's a bit proggy, it's menacingly broody. The vocals are really biting. There's huge riffs, big chords, spectacular solos, and it comes back again, backwards and forwards to that central chorus effect. I'd say, in my view, after listening to this a few times, that this Dark December is Cynic's Beyond the Realms of Death, or even like Rock Bottom. It's that kind of song. It's marvellous. The title track next up, Suburban Crisis, that's got more of those huge slashing riffs, but this one's a little bit unusual. That the bass is to the fore all the way through with a repetitive, funky bass line, and the guitar stabbing here and there along the way, and there's another fine solo. Faithless One is next, another hard-hitting, throbbing, jingling, jangling riff, big hook, big melody, marvellous. Red Eye, another big monster of a song. The riffs alternating with the biting vocals and some more excellent fretwork, especially the end section of the song, marvellous. Do or Die, another monster song, a little bit similar in style to Dark December. And 8 Below closes it out, which is another top-notch rocker as well. Make no mistake at all, Suburban Crisis, huge album. With songs like these that Cynic had in their armoury back in those new wave of British heavy metal days, you'd have thought that either Suicide or anything off that demo would have landed them a recording contract. Sadly, it didn't, but we've still got Suburban Crisis to enjoy. I say full marks to the band for going to no doubt some considerable expense to record the album at the first-class facilities that they used, and even to get Hugh Syme to take care of the artwork. Well worth the effort and expense. It's a spectacular album. The guitar work is off the charts, and you know what that's why your ears might be most drawn to the album. But the vocals are on point, very powerfully delivered. The bass is nicely up in the mix, adding that bit extra, and there's some excellent bass lines going on. And Tim's drumming as well, that glues the whole thing together in my mind. He doesn't miss a beat, and it's a drumming performance of quite some power and poise as well. I would suggest you waste no time in checking the album out, because it's a proper piece, a new wave of British heavy metal, and it's very accessible and very enjoyable. If you would like to check it out, there's a link to the album underneath in the description, and there's also a link back to the post on the website if you'd like to read that. Please do both. Please also subscribe to the channel before you go, that'd be excellent. And as always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and take care.